Have you ever wondered why your body sometimes reacts in ways that seem out of your control when you're stressed or threatened? Well, you're not alone. This is a universal response known as the fight, flight, or freeze reaction. It's an instinctive mechanism that's been with us since the dawn of humanity, designed to protect us from danger. Imagine our ancestors, living in a time when threats were primarily physical, like being chased by a wild animal. In such scenarios, the body would prepare itself to either fight off the threat, flee from it, or freeze and hope the danger passes. However, in our modern world, stressors have evolved. They're no longer just physical threats, but also psychological and emotional ones. A stressful work deadline, a heated argument, or even being stuck in traffic can trigger this primitive response. And here's the catch. Our bodies still react in the same way they did to a charging mammoth, preparing for a physical challenge that isn't actually there. This can lead to feelings of restlessness, anxiety, and even panic. Understanding this reaction is the first step to managing it. Let's dive deeper. So, what exactly happens when the fight, flight, or freeze response is triggered? Well, imagine for a moment that you're walking in a serene forest. Suddenly, you spot a grizzly bear. Your heart starts pounding, your breath quickens, and your muscles tighten. This is your body preparing you for an emergency response. It's either fight, flight, or freeze. This primal reaction originates from the deepest, most ancient part of our brains, the amygdala. The amygdala is like a vigilant watchtower. It's always on the lookout for danger. When it perceives a threat, it sends an alarm to your body. This alarm triggers the adrenal glands to release a rush of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. Adrenaline increases your heart rate, blood pressure, and energy supplies. Cortisol curbs functions that would be non-essential in a fight or flight situation. It alters immune system responses and suppresses the digestive system, the reproductive system, and growth processes. This complex natural alarm system also communicates with regions of your brain that control mood, motivation, and fear. In the modern world, our bears take a different form. They might be a looming deadline, a difficult conversation, or even a piece of news that catches us off guard. These situations can trigger the same fight, flight, or freeze response. The good news is, while this response is automatic, it's not beyond our control. We can't stop our bodies from triggering the fight, flight, or freeze response, but we can certainly influence how long it lasts. But fear not, as much as this response is automatic, there are ways to turn it off. Now comes the crucial question: how can we turn off this response when it's not needed? Well, let's delve into some effective techniques that can help us manage this primal reaction. First off, we have deep breathing. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But believe me, it's one of the most potent tools in your arsenal. When you're stressed, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid, a clear signal to your body that there's danger ahead. However, by consciously taking slow, deep breaths, you can trick your body into believing that the danger has passed. It's a bit like pressing the reset button on your stress response. Next up is mindfulness. This concept is often associated with meditation, but it's much more than that. Mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment, accepting it without judgment. When you're in a state of fight, flight, or freeze, your mind is typically focused on a perceived threat that may not even be real. By practicing mindfulness, you can redirect your attention to the here and now, which can significantly dampen the intensity of your stress response. Last but certainly not least, we have grounding techniques. These are exercises that help you reconnect with the physical world around you, pulling you out of your head and back into reality. This might involve focusing on what you can see, touch, hear, smell, or taste. The aim is to anchor you in the present moment, away from the worries and fears that triggered your stress response in the first place. Now, remember, these techniques are not quick fixes. They require practice and consistency. It's like going to the gym. You can't expect to see results after one workout. It's an ongoing process, and the more you practice, the better you'll get at managing your stress response. Remember, it's not about eliminating this response, but learning to manage it effectively. So, let's start today. Take a deep breath, be mindful of your surroundings, and ground yourself in the present moment. Because you have the power to control your fight, flight, or freeze response, not the other way around. So, what have we learned today? We've delved deep into the fascinating world of the fight, flight, or freeze response. This primal reaction is a survival mechanism, an instinctive response to perceived danger. Yet, in our modern world, it often gets falsely triggered by non-life-threatening situations, causing unnecessary stress and anxiety. We've also identified common triggers that can set off this response, such as work pressure, relationship issues, financial worries, or even just unexpected changes. Recognizing these triggers is the first step towards managing your stress response effectively. But most importantly, we've explored various techniques to turn off this response. Remember, it's all about grounding yourself in the present moment. Techniques like deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, and mindfulness meditation can help you achieve this. Remember, these techniques are not one-size-fits-all. It's about finding what works best for you and practicing it regularly. With understanding and practice, you can take control of your stress response and live a more balanced life. Thank you for joining us today.